Blown to pieces, a Cambria County family's home destroyed when a friend rammed his bomb-laced truck into the building. The house exploded on impact. Bill Shaner and his son Ryan still inside, and despite the severe damage, both made it out alive. And today, members of the Shaner family are counting their blessings.
Kerri Corrado has been in touch with the family since the explosion 8 months ago, and they're finally ready to share their incredible story of survival, strength, and perseverance.
I've been following this family's story of survival for months, covering fundraisers and other events. They were never ready to speak in depth about the day their house exploded, until now.
Something of that caliber explosion you just never could imagine. To make the house disappear like that, turn it into splinters, was just phenomenal.
It's unrecognizable now, but this pile of rubble was once a home filled with memories, laughter, and love. Then on March 19th, something unthinkable happened here.
And I looked around and there was just air. There was no house. And I told him Brad blew up the house.
Bill Shaner knew his friend Kollar was behind this disaster that very nearly killed him and his son Ryan. That's because Brad called Bill seconds before the blast.
He said, you should have paid me some money. The phone hung up, and 2 seconds later there was a crash and there was an explosion.
As all this was happening, Ryan was in the bathroom brushing his teeth.
I felt the floor come up, and then I kneed myself right in the temple, and I blacked out and woke up under everything, climbed out screaming for Dad.
He pulled the mattress off of me and then sat me up, and then I could breathe again. And if he wouldn't have been there that day, I wouldn't be here right now.
Moments before the explosion, Bill's other son, Justin, boarded the bus for school, steps away from the front porch.
The bus never stopped, it just kept going.
Circling by his house that had just been leveled.
No idea how hard it was for him to drive past that and not stop and help.
Linda Shaner was at work when she got a call from her neighbor, Rose.
And Rose just said, I don't know how to say this to you, so I'm just going to be quick and blunt. And she said, there's been an explosion, there's nothing left of your house, it's all in rubble. They're pulling Bill out of the rubble right now, and Ryan's sitting here in the truck with me.
Linda raced back home, Justin not far behind. What they saw was devastating.
You could see wood and drywall and insulation, and so there was clothes hanging out of the trees, there was wood in the trees, and I just kind of like superimposed the house on that because it was a shock.
When I first went there, it was just overwhelming, seeing everything just scattered. I knew kind of from the start there's nothing able to save, and it was just
a bad scene created by a longtime family friend, Kollar. But why would he do this? Bill says he knows the answer.
So he committed suicide instead of going to jail.
Kollar was supposed to be sentenced the day of the explosion on charges he was operating a meth lab. Bill says Kollar thought Bill reported him to the police, but he did not.
Did you ever think he was capable of doing something like this? Or?
No, never in my life would I have ever thought that.
He was across the street at the township garage parking lot, and he waited there until the bus came. So I'm assuming in Brad's mind he thought both kids were out of the house.
You'd think with Kollar dead, the Shaners would be at peace. But the reality is he was a friend, there for holidays, birthdays, and celebrations.
Brad did this to you guys, but you seem to still have sympathy in your heart for everything he was going through, which...
I still have a lot of sympathy for his family also, because, you know, it's not only Brad that's gone. You know, he still was a father and still has some sisters and a mother and father, and I feel for them also.
He was a good guy. He was a good guy. I mean,
yes.
You know, you think of a friend you've known, and to think they would do this to you, it's just...
Yes, he is still missed. In my heart, he's missed. And always will be.
Now the Shaners are trying to move on the best way they know how, by rebuilding their home on the same spot they lived for 20 years.
One bedroom on the side, kitchen be over here, and the rest would be living area.
Fragments of their former life formed in piles around their property.
There's plywood from in the house.
Determined not to be moved.
That's why I want our family to build this house, because it's going to be ours. And it'll be a way for us to get our family back together.
Now the Shaners are living in a modest home a few miles down the road, but they hope to be in their new house next year. But in the meantime, they have something much more important: each other.
You just gotta keep going through it. You just gotta keep moving forward. You know, family is one of the most important things.
By far the most important thing.
And, you know, I still have them, and you know, they are okay.
So often you hear about the parents being there for the kids in the time of tragedy. But for Bill, it's his kids that keep him going.
They're strong kids. They're very strong kids. They more help us out than we help them out. They're good.
Bill still feels some of the effects from his injuries from the explosion. He continues to undergo therapy. You saw the foundation for their new home in place, but the family says they can't wait to finally move into the home they will be building together. Kerri, Corrado, 6 News.